Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Today is the 5th of October 2022, and the news is brought to you by Analog Spotlight. It's sponsored by Analog Spotlight, a group of photographic retailers and manufacturers who have joined together to support analog photographic media and help keep analog photography thriving worldwide. As the sponsors go through the top of my head, I want to thank all of them. I met some of them during the photography show in the UK. And I also want to excuse my lack of news in the past, basically since August 23rd. So I guess a month and a half. That's the longest run without news. It's due to just time complications, work complications, travel complications. In the time that I haven't done the news, I visited the photography show in the UK. I visited the Ilford factory. I want to thank Matt for the visit. It was an extreme opportunity to see it. No, I didn't do any video. I didn't want to lose the perspective of seeing how film and paper and all this stuff is done by having a camera in front of me. I hope to come back one day and actually produce a video. But this first time was kind of like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. I wanted to suck it all in and understand what's happening and listen to everybody properly, so I wouldn't, just be shoving a camera in front of everybody. So no video. All I can say is Ilford is amazing. What they're doing there at Harman Technologies is, basically making sure we have a future of film photography. And yeah, I just wanted to thank everybody and all your patients, including Patreons. People have written me to see if I'm okay. I am okay. Like I said, I've been taking some time off video creation, concentrating on work and family and traveling. But yeah, the news this week is going to be sort of scattered because I had tried to do the news a couple weeks. Also, there's a change in the schedule. I won't be doing it on Tuesdays, but Wednesdays, because now I'm enrolled in Finnish classes as a non-native on Tuesday nights, so I can't really do the news on Tuesdays. So sorry for that. It'll only be temporary depending on how it goes after the course. It's like a year course, so hopefully I should understand Finnish properly. Right now, I only know pieni Finnish, which is a small amount of Finnish. So yeah, let's go ahead. Like I said, the news is going to be scattered. I might miss something. If I miss something, I'll try to include it next week. I did the best I could. So first of all, one of our sponsors, Cameradactyl, has made available digital downloads of camera grips, what he calls butter grips. If you are into shooting film and you have a camera and you know that a grip is kind of comfortable, the Sony guys love talking about grips and stuff. Well, film cameras don't usually have grips, at least the old ones. So Cameradactyl with butter grips created 3D printed grips for film cameras, and now he's selling the digital downloads for you to print it yourself. So if you like tinkering and not spending a buck, you can just buy a couple of those grips and print them yourself. They're cheaper, obviously, than buying them from him. He also sells them complete if you want a one-stop solution for your grip. Then we have Heiland Electronics with a PDF to help you write down the details every time you're printing. This is done by one photographer that's actually a friend of mine. It was interesting to see Mitch Weiss, which Mitch, if you're watching, I salute you. Hello to you. Thanks for this. This is a PDF file to help you basically set the settings and remember the settings when you're printing with a Heiland enlarger head or timer and such. So you got all kinds of settings and parameters you got to write down. If you're into the darkroom work and repetitiveness in darkroom work, it only comes if you're very thorough with your notes. So this helps. Then we have a new lens from MS Optics, a Xenomax. I hope I said that correctly. 50mm f3.5. And I'll be opening this just to double check. This seems to be a collapsible 50mm lens. It's a 53.5, like I said. It goes for 90,000 yen. It comes in silver and black, and it's very, very small. So if you're into that kind of stuff, you go ahead and you can find it on the link below. Then we have Silbersalz35. So I was in a Frankfurt event, I can't remember, 2 months ago with Thomas from Silbersalz, and they told me about this. I was very, very happy to hear it, but I couldn't reveal it yet. Basically, what Silbersalz has done is produce a high quality film cassette, like basically a high quality 35 film from basically motion picture. So as you know, Kodak makes motion picture film for, motion picture, the Hollywood movies, Bollywood movies, video clips, and so on. Cinestill got that film, removed the remjet, and created Cinestill 800T, 400D, and so on. And it's a bit more complicated with Cinestill, but you get the gist of it. And then what Silbersalz has done is grab that same motion picture film and canned it into 35mm canisters for still photographers. So it still has remjet, it still has the Vision 3 technology, but it's packaged properly in the sense of, like, I'm not saying the Cinestill doesn't do it. I'm saying like some people bulk load it like in their house. This is done by a proper factory that's grabbing the master rolls and they're canning them into 35. They're converting them to 35mm, and they have 50D, 250D, I think 250T, and 500T. So these are the 4 film stocks that come. I guess they don't have E100. They could do E100. From Silbersalz. Now that there's a color film drought, basically this is really important. But not only that, they are giving you the option of also scanning with them. Silbersalz have always sold kind of a complete package, the film with a voucher to develop and scan with them. Now they've separated that. They sell the film independently and also sell the voucher for developing independently, but also let you send them 35mm C41 independently. So you can kind of do whatever you want with them. Buy the film, develop yourself, buy the film, develop somewhere else, buy the film, develop with them, and scan. But not only that, they've changed their scanning technology to what they call the Apollon, which is a phase 1 super back resolution. I don't know, one of these like 400 megapixels or 150 megapixels. I'm lost in megapixels. There's too many. I can't count them. Basically for scanning your film. I saw some examples there at Frankfurt. They were from Grainy Days, and it was impressive. There were X-band shots, and the resolution and the color depth that they were there was crazy. I'm guessing it's like 16-bit RAW or whatever. Yeah, not terms I understand. Amazing results. But yeah, Apollon 14K quality. So you can even scan a motion picture film for that quality. So it's like super hyper high quality. So this stuff is available in multiple stores around Europe. I'm guessing around the globe. And then you can always send the film to get scanned and so on and developed by them in Germany. Silbersalz35.com. Then we have a new camera, a new film camera. Yes, you heard correctly, the Alfie Camera. And I've mentioned the Alfie Camera here on the channel before, but the Alfie Camera is finally on Kickstarter. This is a half-frame camera that has a turret with space for 4 lenses. And if I'm not incorrect, they have a pinhole lens, or a pinhole, because there's no lens in a pinhole. Then they have like a point and shoot lens, and then a lens they've made for this. And then they have space for a 4th that they are, I guess, not covering. This camera has auto exposure, if I'm not mistaken, electronic shutter, and so on. Half frame. It's extremely small. It's like small, small, small. I think like the width is like this Rolleiflex, but it's like tiny. I saw it at the photography show. I never got to talk to Alfie properly because I was busy. I thought he would be there a couple more days. He wasn't. So there's no content there. I wanted to interview him. But the camera looks good. It's a good first step in the right direction for film cameras. Hopefully he can mass produce them or produce them in high quantities. He's got a Kickstarter open with 124 backers, so that's probably around 124 cameras. But there's 11 days left. He's already raised his goal. The camera's already produced. I've seen a couple of examples. Very nice looking, very cool stuff. But new film camera. Then we have Noble Design cameras. So this is a 3D printed camera, panoramic camera made in the UK. So for those who are in Europe, remember customs. If you're in the US, I guess you get customs too. 6x12 and 6x17. This uses large format lenses adapted into a helical, basically cone. It kind of reminds me of the Malefic camera, kind of like the GF GX617 cameras, 3D printed. So take that with a pinch of salt. Their 3D printing has improved a lot, but I still find it to be slightly finicky sometimes. But yeah, this is 3D printed. It has ground glass. It has the option to change like the film backs and the cones. There's a cone protector and so on. They're available online. I have not used any. I have not seen any. I know Thomas Heaton, a YouTuber that does mostly digital photography landscape. He's gotten into film in the recent years, but has done a review of it. Like I said, new camera, kind of cool design, that's for sure. But yeah, available now. Then we have Negative Supply Pro Film Carrier 35. So Negative Supply started with the Pro Carrier 35 for the first product years ago. Now has done the biggest change in their lineup with the Pro Film Carrier 35. It's modular, so you can like insert and take out like different masks. So you can go from like 35 scanning to 35 with sprockets to panoramic, so on, so on. And it's like a whole plethora of products, like a family of products. So it can have like a little adapter that holds onto their light. Then there's a little adapter that holds into something else. So like I can't explain it all because there's too much to explain. Even their website sometimes is too hard to understand. So you can go check it out if you're into Negative Supply and you wanted to upgrade your 35 carrier, which honestly was pretty good already. So, you know, you probably shouldn't upgrade if you already have version 1. Like I do. But yeah, you can go ahead and check it out. Then we have large format camera manufacturer Ghibellini, Italian manufacturer, partnering with Pagani, the car manufacturer, for an 8x10 limited camera. This is almost like a press move. Seems to be that Pagani was gifted a large format camera, thought this was amazing. I guess talked to Ghibellini, made a special edition. They sell for 75,000 euros. First 30 are reserved to previous purchasers or buyers of the Pagani car. The car is like 2 million euros. So I guess this is like trying to change the tire. But for the usual 8x10 shooter, 75 grand is kind of a little high. But if you're into collectibles, might be a collectible thing. Then we have Shoot Film Co. with a transparent bag, basically to carry your film. If you've been flying around with film, you understand there's these new scanners called CT scanners that will basically burn your film with X-rays. And a lot of people are asking for manual checkups. I have myself, and you basically want to always show like the film as naked as possible without, you know, basically exposing your film to light. So this little transparent bag just has like X-ray, no X-ray, blah, blah, blah film on it. You can take it, tell the inspector, please hand check this stuff. And it's funny, the worst place in the world you would think would be the US because of their security concerns, but they are actually the best ones in hand checking. So in some other places, it's terrible. But it's pretty good there. So this is available at Shoot Film Co. website. Then we have Film Lab app with a 2.5 version is now on iOS in public beta. Now you need the test flight app from Apple. But now it lets you like crop in the app and preview in the with the filter conversion, so on. You get the gist of it, but it's pretty cool. FilmLab app is moving forward in I think in an interesting way with not a lot of noise being made, but it'll probably improve a lot. Then we have Fujifilm chemicals and paper price increase. There's a 15% price increase of Fujifilm chemicals and paper, RA4 and chemicals probably from Mini Labs. It's completely understandable. The world's inflation is just going crazy. So 50%, even 15% even feels not that huge. Then we have a new film release from our friends Cat Labs with the 320 film, 35 and 120 film available now through their website. It's a black and white film, supposed to be a new emulsion. And I say supposed because I don't know for a fact, but that's what they're saying. And basically finished already, ready to shoot 35mm and 120 medium format film. Then another one of the biggest news that came out of nowhere is the Mint 35 compact camera. This is not yet a product, but if you don't know about Mint Cameras has been making the SLR SX70, they've been making the TLR with the Instax film, they'd be making the RF 670, which is like a Fuji Instax wide rangefinder camera. And they've been doing the I don't know, it's SL660 or something. I can't, I'm getting the name wrong, but it does also Instax Square, rangefinder, Instax camera. What Mint has done in the past, and I interviewed them in the 2018 Photokina, the last Photokina, and I told them, I said, you guys have invented first a copal shutter or central shutter, a leaf shutter, that can expose up to 1/500th of a second, but also synced with flash, which is something we haven't seen since copal, Prontor, and Compor shutters, which are all pretty much gone. I would say gone. The brands are not gone, but the shutters are gone. And they have done the aperture priority, they have done plus minus compensation, flash built in, and so on. I said, you have a Fuji GF670 or a Plaubill Machina or a, I don't know, whatever rangefinder you want with bellows built, but instead of shooting roll film, you're shooting, you know, instant film. Why don't you make this for roll film? And they kind of looked at me like, what do you mean by roll film? Because they had their head so much into Instax and Polaroid instant photography that they hadn't really, I guess, considered the idea of making a roll film camera. Fast forward 4 years since 2018, and boom, there they go. They send us a explosion view of a 35mm point and shoot or compact camera. Seems like a point and shoot, but it might not be fully point and shoot. It almost looks like a Fuji 35, you know, the one that has like the advanced lever on the bottom. Actually, is it on the bottom? Is it on the top? It's the right wine lever on the bottom. But they made a couple blog posts. It's still not available. They're kind of giving steps. They did the same thing with the RF670. I think that's the name. Kind of giving updates on what was coming, like what was the plan and the roadmap and some images. It's kind of like you have to put your email so you can look at the blog. It's a good way to get emails for their, basically their newsletter. But Mint has been one of the only companies, apart from Lomography and Leica, that has been doing film cameras as of recent. And they have been doing them without Kickstarters, without crowdfundings, without pre-sales, kinda, and products have just been going out. And they have had their issues with, you know, sometimes the film wouldn't extract or maybe the flash wouldn't fire, stuff like that. But this is understandable in the grand scheme of things of building a new film camera. It might be instant, but it's still a new film camera. Now they're looking at roll film, and that makes me extremely happy because we do need new film cameras. Do we need to save the old cameras? Of course, but new film cameras is a good thing to grab attention of both investors, users, manufacturers, and so on. So really good news from Mint. If you're watching this, Mint, I would love to go see you guys and see the progress of this, but I know it's not so simple currently. Then we have a new Leica 35mm Sumilux lens. This is a 35mm f1.4, the latest revision, and probably the first revision that doesn't make me excited about it. And I'll explain. The 35mm f1.4 Sumilux from Leica is meant to be it's made mostly for the digital Leicas. Why so? Because it doesn't stop at where the rangefinder focuses at 0.7, but it stops at 0.4. This means that it's made for EVF, kind of like adapting or EVF. So it's made for like the M11 or M10 or M10 monochrome, but like on an M9, and an MP or an M7, M6, M2, M3, whatever other film camera, you'll see that it goes to 0.6 and then continues. And that makes me extremely frustrated because I'm one that shoots film and goes straight to 0.7 and focuses like fast, and then suddenly having something that doesn't have a hard stop. I wish there was a way that it would go to like 0.7 and then you have to have a little button to go forward. So it could be like a film hybrid with digital, but it doesn't. And for the price, they could have put like Wi-Fi on the lens, but it's Leica, it's quality, you know what I mean. Then we have Negative Lab Pro with a new version, a free software update for their converting software, version 2.3, available today. You can go ahead and check it out. If you are a user of it, probably has some good improvements. If you're not a user of it, I highly recommend it. Everybody likes to use it. Then, last but not least, we have news from Orville. Orville has announced that they're also working on the Wolfen 500T for tungsten film coming soon. And I was at the UK, I asked a couple people that had seen any Orville film. That's what I said in the last news. Has anybody received their pre-orders of Orville Wolf in 500? So far, nobody has received the film. So I insist, remember, if you're purchasing something, it's always good to have something that's on the shelves. I'm not a big fan of pre-ordering. I understand sometimes it's the way to do it to help projects. But now they're announcing a new film stock without having delivered the first version. So that also makes me kind of like nervous. I guess they're working on it and it's coming soon. They had a lot of delays from what they told me. I did meet one of the representatives at the photography show. They had no booth. They were just telling me, and the first thing I said is, where's your film? I want to see your film. And so far, nobody has received it. There has been some videos and some samples being sent away, but that doesn't always mean that there's a full product. We've seen plenty of pre-orders and Kickstarters have, test rolls and then, or test things and then not ship. So just be careful, beware, or where do you go? There is a desperation for film color, but that doesn't mean we have to always, jump on the first one. Talking about film color, the Santa, and this is not on the news, I actually just remember now. Santa Color Campaign, which was a pre-order, Indiegogo campaign, has started delivering their rolls already. I've seen the packaging because it's happening here in-house. It's literally behind the door here. The packaging is here, the film is here, the bulk loading film thing is here, and people are working there around the clock to deliver Santa Color film. It's an ISO 100 film. If you missed the Kickstarter, there'll be some extras after the Kickstarter or after the crowdfunding campaign. And it's a wonderful color film. It's very interesting to see, very different kind of color film, very sharp to be 100. Well, it's ISO 100. That's like low grain for 100, but also very natural muted colors. It's not very saturated like Ektar. But yeah, basically Santa Color Film is going well. Hopefully there'll be more news from them soon. I don't know for sure, but let's hope so, because color film is hard to find. And that's basically not news, but it's really, really hard to find color film right now, which is something that worries me a little bit. I'm sure the community too. But yeah, that's the news for this week. Thank you so much for all the sponsors. The link to Analogue Spotlight is below. I met them in the UK, not all of them obviously, because all over the world. But thanks for waiting for the news. Sorry for the lack of news. I'll try to keep up from now on, but I can't promise anything. Life gets in the way. Next week I'm going to Germany, so if you do go to Photopia in Hamburg, you'll meet me there at the fair. And also, you might have not noticed, shave my mustache. I know a lot of people were enjoying that whole look, but my wife gets getting sick of it. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye. Oh, and if you have any news that you think I forgot, send me an email to the email below. See you in the next one. Bye.